Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today I am reviewing episode 125 of Dragon Ball Super, titled With Imposing Presence, God of Destruction, Toppo Descends. Just real quick before we go any further, guys, my name is Dooley. You can find me at youtube.com/Dooley, but you won't just find me there. You will find a community of over 28,000 Dragon Ball Super fans, a growing family, and you are welcome to be a part of it. You can join by clicking the subscribe button below this video or the link in the description. If you decide to do that, then welcome to the family in advance. Okay, let's go. Episode 125 of Dragon Ball Super was one of the better episodes in this series. If you say this is one of your favorite episodes, I will not be surprised, especially if you're a Toppo fan. A lot to talk about, so before I get ahead of myself, let's hop into this review. The episode starts with Goku and Vegeta versus Jiren. It's the same song and dance. Goku and Vegeta are attacking Jiren at full power, and it's having little to no impact on this guy. Guys, I'm starting to feel like if Jiren is this strong, he needs to start making a move to eliminating Goku and Vegeta. He's just like a walking meat shield at this point, an endgame boss with way too much HP. I'm not knocking Jiren. I actually like Jiren. I like his character, or at least a little bit of it we've seen so far, but I think he needs to start doing more. If he can overpower Goku and Vegeta, then go ahead and overpower them. Knock them off the platform, or try to. All that keeps happening is Jiren keeps letting Goku and Vegeta attack him, and then show them that they're not strong enough to do damage to him. What's the point of that? It's getting a bit redundant. Anyway, the episode flashes over to Android 17 versus Toppo, and in this one-on-one fight, Android 17 is doing much better than I expected. In all fairness, not only is Android 17 strong, he's also quite smart, and he has unlimited energy. So it makes sense that he's not a pushover for Toppo. All that aside though, I think Toppo is just stronger than Android 17, even in this base form. He powers up a bit, starts firing a giant ball of ki at Android 17. Android 17 counters with his own ball of ki, and right when they're in that tug of war, Frieza shows up and starts shooting Toppo in the back. I thought this scene was really well handled because it showcased the cruelty of Frieza. I'm pretty sure someone in the stands also said that, but it created this weird dynamic where I think most of us, we want Frieza to win because he's part of Universe 7. We're in Universe 7, right? But on the opposite end, his opponent is Toppo, who is a good guy who's just there fighting for his universe, who values justice and peace, etc., etc. And the way our universe is going about handling him, it isn't fair. Not only is it a 2-on-1 fight, but Frieza is essentially trying to torture him. So it puts you in this weird situation, this weird means to an end way of thinking where what Frieza is doing is acceptable because we want to win. And I'm not trying to suggest that everyone watching that clip felt that way. I know a lot of you guys dislike Frieza, but I kind of caught myself feeling that way, and I just thought it was interesting. Anyway, let's keep going. Frieza's interference allowed Android 17 to temporarily overpower Toppo, and this is where things get really interesting, guys, because it looks almost as if Toppo was eliminated. Whis noted that he was not teleported to the stands, so he was still on the platform, and that's when we saw a beaten up, shirt ripped off, grandpa looking Toppo. And this is where Frieza shows up and starts talking a bunch of smack to Toppo. He says, "You look quite pathetic now. All tattered like trash. Trash belongs in the trash bin." And at this point, I'm just like, Jesus, Frieza. Like, he doesn't just want to defeat his opponents, he wants to humiliate them. The thing that's a bit annoying about this though is that, in my opinion, while Toppo was down, Frieza had ample opportunity to knock him off the platform. But instead of doing that, he chose to talk smack. What happens next, I think, really hurts Frieza's credibility. Toppo begins to transform into a god of destruction, all while Frieza is standing there looking unimpressed. Everyone else could sort of figure out that whatever is going on with Toppo is unbelievable, but Frieza looks unimpressed. In that moment, I thought Frieza had some sort of plan. I was shocked to see that when Toppo fired his ki blast, his god of destruction ki blast at Frieza, Frieza for some reason thought he would be able to deflect it with one hand. Okay, I get it, he did it before the tournament, but it wasn't with one hand. It pushed him to his limit to be able to resist god of destruction ki that was only a fraction of the size of the one traveling towards him. Why would he think he would miraculously be able to resist this one with one hand? I said it really hurts Frieza's credibility, And that's because not only did he grossly underestimate what God of Destruction Toppo was capable of, he also grossly overestimated himself. Going forward in this series, you just cannot take anything Frieza says seriously. Now I feel like him saying, oh, I'm gonna have the Omni King bow to my feet, I'm just like, yeah, right, bro. Like, you don't get how any of this works. It sucks because I think because this, in my opinion, discredits Frieza, it also discredits this bigger idea that Frieza had a plan that was going to reveal itself and have a significant impact at some point in this tournament. Anyway, God of Destruction Toppo fires a destruction blast at Frieza. And guys, this blast is so powerful. Not only does it appear to almost disintegrate Frieza, it also changes the color of the skies in the world of Void. And beyond that, it completely splits the platform, the fighting stage, in two. Unbelievable. I remember when Kefla was powering up, Master Roshi mentioned something about they could possibly split the platform. God of Destruction Toppo appeared and did that for real. After I saw that, I realized that was it. This guy is too much of a threat. Frieza and Android 17 just cannot handle him. Anyway, I thought it was interesting that the reason why Toppo doesn't use his God of Destruction power is because it conflicts with his morals. And by going into this form, he had made a decision that it was no longer about justice. At this point, it was only about survival. A very interesting turn of events. He noticed Android 17 hiding and essentially said the same thing. He said it's all about survival, and Android 17 agreed with him. That moment was random, but for some reason it felt important. He begins firing at Android 17. Android 17 tries to put his shield up, but Toppo's Ki Blasts now are just too much. They break through his shield, and it becomes obvious that there just isn't much Android 17 can do. At this point, Frieza shows up and throws a rock at Toppo, a giant rock at Toppo, but Frieza is heavily damaged. And again, even after getting that much damage from one of Toppo's attacks, Frieza underestimates Toppo while overestimating himself again. He does an attack that apparently has the power to destroy a planet, as if that matters. Toppo was able to easily counter Frieza's attack by flicking a bit of ki at it the size of a marble. He then proceeds to completely embarrass Frieza, hitting him with one of the hardest punches I've ever seen in all of Dragon Ball Super. He then grabs his skull and reiterates what Frieza told him earlier. He says, "Trash belongs in the trash bin," and then throws Frieza off the platform. Luckily, Frieza lands on a floating rock, and in my opinion, that is likely where he's going to stay for the majority of the rest of this tournament. The fact that he wasn't eliminated means that he's not done. He's gonna play a role. I see maybe something happens where everyone else gets eliminated, and because Frieza is there, Universe 7 wins. Who knows? But he's not done. If he was done, he would have been eliminated. But it was just really embarrassing the way that fight went with Toppo. Frieza should have done better. I said Frieza landed on a rock. I forgot to mention that the reason why he did that was because Android 17 threw a rock at Frieza, causing that to happen. And I think Android 17's performance here is sort of what I expected from Frieza. Frieza is evil and arrogant and cruel, but he's also a genius. I expected him to be much smarter than what he showcased in this episode. Instead, Android 17 was a smart one. He said that no matter how strong Toppo is, he has to have a weakness. And guys, not too long after that moment, Toppo's weakness was revealed to us by Beerus. Toppo fires a God of Destruction Ki Blast at Android 17. The blast almost hits the spectator seats, and this is where Beerus reveals Toppo's secret. He says that, as he suspected, Toppo needs a charge time in order to use Destruction Ki. He can't just keep spamming it. And in my opinion, if Toppo is defeated in this tournament, it's going to be through exploiting that weakness. We also see that Toppo has God of Destruction Ki around his body, an aura of it, a constant aura that protects him from Ki Blast. It's not yet clear if that aura will also protect Toppo from physical attacks like punches and kicks. I don't necessarily think it will, because we saw Toppo punching and grabbing onto Frieza in this episode, and Frieza didn't disintegrate. He also did the same to Android 17. There was at least one time where he punched Android 17 and 17 didn't disintegrate either. So maybe Toppo's aura only affects Ki Blast, Ki fired at him, and if that's the case, that may be another avenue for Android 17, and now we know Vegeta, to exploit to defeat him. Obviously, we know Vegeta will be fighting Toppo in next week's episode because of the preview. I talk more about that in my preview review, which I'll link in a card right now. I also talk about what is likely to happen with Android 17 in the next episode. All that aside though, guys, a very, very good episode of Dragon Ball Super. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really couldn't have asked for anything more other than Frieza living up to his intelligence and doing more. Outside of that, I enjoyed it. Let me know how you guys felt about it though in the comments below. Thank you for checking out this video. You can follow this channel outside of YouTube via social media links in the description. #DudeCrew. Thank you guys for all the support. Have a great day. Bye.